Hello everyone, this is Crystal with Slick Trade, and in this presentation I'm going to go over the prediction and analysis for the upcoming week. Today is March 26th, and tomorrow is Easter. So I hope you guys are enjoying your long weekend. Hopefully you're getting some great family time or friend time, in and not working too hard. I'm going to start this week off with the GBP USD because it is set up perfectly for the upcoming week. And AU, EU, and UC are set up a little bit differently. We've got some conflicting setups happening between the Pop and Picasso, the Fultron, and the, if you remember back, not this week that just occurred, but the week before we had FOMC, and so between those three strategies, essentially, we're getting some mixed signals, okay? But I'll explain those in a minute. Let's start with the GBP USD because it is set up very nice right now. All right. I did post in the room on, I believe it was Friday, the GU going into a long. And that was based on the Fultron. Fultron crossed to the upside and immediately hit my first take profit level. I ended up re-entering it just because of the way it looked on Pop and Picasso and everything else. So I'm already technically in this trade. Looking at the Pop and Picasso, here is what's occurring. I'm just going to get this box out of the way if I can, so you guys can kind of see what's happening. Alright, so Pop and Picasso. If we start down here with the RSI teetered around here, below the 30 line, kind of exiting, re-entering, exiting, re-entering. It has re-entered fully, and RSI looks good for a long or buy position. The oscillator flipped to the upside. Now, if you are new to the room or you haven't really spent much time with Pop and Picasso, I really like this for my weekly trades. It's set to an hourly chart. You can trade the Pop and Picasso on multiple different time frames, but this is just my favorite, especially because it's great when you look at the end of the week and you're going into a new week, and entering some trades on Sunday or Monday that last either overnight or for the rest of the week. Okay, it kind of depends. Oh, and I forgot to say too, last week all four pairs hit all three take profit levels, plus had a potential to move a lot further. So I hope you guys trail stopped if you did take the prediction analysis. Alright, so back to this. We've got right here this 100 Hall moving average, this purple to the turquoise. Okay, purple essentially is showing a downtrend, and turquoise is showing an uptrend. Okay, now you will see, like in this scenario, we had, you can't solely rely on any one of these indicators. But you have here in an uptrend, and then it kind of switched to purple and kind of headed down a little bit, and switched right back up, and then switched right back down. We were in kind of a period of consolidation at that point. Okay, and when I say consolidation, I just mean there's no real apparent trend. Price is going in between, some support and resistance or supply and demand zones, and once it breaks that area, in this scenario it broke up and continued up. When it breaks down, a lot of the time it will continue down. Okay, so looking at this, price headed down, and then it headed up, and then it headed down, so when it's not in consolidation, it usually moves very, very well. Okay, and you can rely quite a bit on that Hall moving average, 100. Okay, but like I said, you don't want to rely on it solely. Okay, so anyways, the oscillator, I forgot to finish explaining that, to any of you that haven't been using it, I'm very sorry. What you'll see is the oscillator will flip. When I say there's an Aussie flip, that means, okay, so price has been headed down, headed down, headed down. As you can see it down here, oscillator's showing down, 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 but it's getting exhausted. When I say exhausted, it's not large bars anymore. They're getting smaller and smaller and smaller. And right here, it flipped to the upside. Okay, so it flipped to the upside right there. You got a semaphore sun, which is this right here, showing a buy. Do not rely solely on semaphores, ever, ever, ever. They repaint, okay? Back testing, they look beautiful, going from semaphore, 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 semaphore. It'd be real easy, okay? if trading was like that. You wouldn't need any help if you just use a semaphore and nothing else. But it repaints, okay? So, keep that in mind, all right? But we did have the semaphore buy. We had the oscillator flip up. We had RSI re-enter that 30 line. And price is above the 100 Hall moving average, and then it switched to a buy right there. Okay, so you had every indicator line up. We ended the week with a semaphore buy. Okay, where price is above that Hall moving average. And it's showing a buy. Okay, oscillator looks good, RSI looks good. Everything's showing a buy. If we switch on over to the Voltron, my absolute favorite setup of all time, right here, or excuse me, right here, moving averages cross to the upside. Oh, also please keep in mind this is the Voltron V2 EMA. Okay, I'm using EMAs, and it's the Voltron V2, so instead of the 12 and 26, it is the 20 and 13 EMAs right here. Okay, that's the only difference from the original. Both still work great, but definitely keep that in mind. Okay, so we ended right here, we had a buy. Okay, oscillator looks good, flipped to the upside, just like the other chart. That's the same exact indicator. Everything looks good. Also, when looking at FOMC from 2 weeks ago, this right here was FOMC. Price has already retraced back down to that initial price to where it was before the release of FOMC. Okay? So, all three of those strategies, GU looks good for a long or buy position. Okay? So that's the easiest one. Next one we've got is AU. Ending the week on the AU with the Pop and Picasso, price is above the 100 Hall moving average. The Hall moving average is showing a buy. Okay? We ended with a semaphore buy. However, oh, and RSI also looks good. It exited, it re-entered. Okay? However, the oscillator is kind of exhausted to the downside. It hasn't flipped to the downside, but it's exhausted to the downside. Okay? Price is below the 200 simple moving average. Okay? So those are two things showing that price may continue to the downside. The next thing I'm looking at is the Voltron. The Voltron is showing that price wants to head down. Okay? Now it did already head down some. We had that cross on Friday. Okay? I actually wish I would have seen that cross, but I didn't. The cross occurred here. The signal would have been right there. Okay? And now price has already moved down to here. Okay? So it has moved some. But overall, it's still showing on here, you know, that price is headed down. The next thing I'm looking at is FOMC 2 weeks ago. Price before the release was right there. Now, with FOMC and NFP, okay, with both of those for second entry, okay, when price moves heavily in one direction after the release of FOMC or NFP, which I did explain here. Let me just bring it up in case if you're new or in case if you haven't looked at all the strategies. I'd like to just show you where it's at. If you are members, strategies, right here, FOMC and NFP. I'm pretty sure that's one. Where are we at here? Oh, right here, second entry. Okay. Price, any time that it has moved heavily in one direction after the release of NFP or FOMC, it has retraced back to that initial price 9 out of 10 times, okay, from what I have seen. Now, I've traded both more than 10 times, okay, but literally, okay, it's a 90% chance, okay, that price goes right back down to where it began. So, looking at the Fultron setup and looking at where price was before it, before FOMC release, it has a lot further that it can move, okay? Looking at just the Fultron, right here, we've got a demand zone. I think price easily head right down to here, okay? So even if it doesn't go fully down to where price initially was before the release, it could very easily move to right here at this demand zone, okay? So I put a short on the post with 3 take profit levels. Definitely watch it, okay, because we are getting a little bit different, you know, a little bit different signal, I guess, from Poppin Picasso, all right, but I think AU is going to head down. Now, I know a lot of the time, GU, AU, and EU kind of, they don't mirror each other, but they seem to follow each other pretty well. So a lot of the time, at least for the past few weeks now, GU, AU, and EU have been all longs or all shorts, okay? And they followed that very well. This week, I think we're going to have a little bit different scenario, okay? And that is, you know, I think GU is going to go long, and I think AU is going to still continue down a bit. It may not go into a full downtrend, okay, but I think it's going to at least head down to that, like I said, demand zone right here. And, you know, like I said, any time that I've traded FOMC or NFP, when there's a big spike like that, it comes back down to that initial price before the release. Okay, and showing here, it's still got a lot of room. Okay, it has, it has, you know, plenty of room to head down. Okay, EU, Euro USD, same scenario as the AU. Okay, and excuse me. Jeez. It has already moved back. I mean, price has already come down. Looking at the NFP, or FOMC, it's already come back down halfway. Okay? Maybe that's all that it does. Okay? But it's doing the same thing. Okay? Poppin Picasso is showing that it wants to head up. And that is with the oscillator flipping up, RSI kind of mid area. Whole moving average is showing a buy. Price is above the whole moving average. We ended with a semaphore buy. Okay, so basically everything on the Poppin Picasso is showing that it wants to head up. Okay. Looking though at the Fultron, it's already headed down pretty heavy, but it's still showing. Okay, we haven't had a signal to the upside yet, and we're below the 200 moving average. Okay, so I think if anything, price is going to head down to at least here, to this demand zone. Okay, if not, back to here, where price was before the release of FOMC. Okay, so based on those two strategies, I think it still has room to move down. Okay, that's why I put a short on EU as well. Okay, looking at USD CHF, same three strategies. Poppin' Picasso is showing that it wants to head down. Okay, price is below the Hall Moving Average, has not switched to purple yet. We ended with a semaphore sell, and RSI is kind of, I don't know, not really showing a whole lot. Not really relying on that for this, but the oscillator is showing some kind of back and forth movement here. A little bit of, I guess, what I like to call consolidation. So no real apparent flip or anything like that. I know price has already headed up for the USD CHF, but we're now above the 200 moving average. Okay, if we look over here at Fultron, okay, it's still showing a buy or long position. It's above the 200 simple moving average. And the last thing I'm looking at is, okay, price has come back to where it was right after the release of FOMC, but it has not moved all the way up to where it was before the release of FOMC. So, I mean, it still has plenty of room to move. Okay, price is currently at a demand zone. Okay, it's, you know, it's showing that price wants to head up based on Fultron and FOMC. Okay, if you look at Poppin' Picasso, like I said, it's showing that it wants to head down. But based on the other two, it's showing it wants to head up still. So, my thought, I put the 3 take profit levels for all 4 of those pair. Definitely keep an eye on them, but I think, UC and GU are going to head up in the long position. I think AU and EU are going to head down into shorts. Okay, the only one that is set up perfectly for the Fultron, FOMC, and Poppin' Picasso is the GU. So that one is fully set up. You want the safest one and the safest one only, it's GU. If you want to trade all 4 still, because normally my prediction and analysis, it hits all 3 take profit levels and then some. I'd say about 80% of the time or so. Occasionally you'll have one pair that doesn't. Doesn't hit any take profit level. I don't remember the last time that has occurred, but nobody's right all the time. But I wanted to do a video to show you guys, why we have some kind of conflicting setups, okay? But still, what I think is going to occur based on history. History meaning FOMC and NFP releases, and what price does after, and based on the Fultron, and then also based on Poppin' Picasso. Okay, so that's my thought. I hope you guys have a great week. We've got some cool stuff Prediction analysis right here. I know I said this last week in the P&A, but we have an updated Patriot EA that's it's still currently being tested, but it's going to be released very soon, probably this week. What it's going to do is it's going to take into account the semaphore, okay, as well. There will be that feature will also be added to the Rock and Renko and the Pop and Picasso. So if a semaphore has previously painted, it does not mean that it won't repaint, but if it has previously painted and then everything else sets up based on the strategies, then it will enter the trade. You'll have an option if you want it to do that or not, but you know, I think it's a good added feature to everything. For the Patriot, since there is the Semaphorce and the Patriot, there's kind of some different things that different members prefer over others, and so we're going to have added input options for the Patriot so that you can base your entry on what you want. Kind of like the Pop and Picasso is, and like the Rock and Renko is. You have more options if you want them, and if not, that's absolutely fine. You can just keep it based on the strategy itself, the way that it was meant to be. Okay, that should also be released here in April. We have the Pop and Picasso and the Rock and Renko. They are going to have an added HMA cross input option. Okay, HMA meaning the Hall Moving Average. So when the Hall Moving Averages cross, there will be a signal and or auto trade. If we go ahead and just look at that real quick, let's just grab a GU. Let me zoom in just a little bit. When these Hall Moving Averages right here, when they cross, is when it will give you a signal and or entry into the trade, whether you're auto trading or just receiving signals. Again, here they crossed. Okay, boom. Here they crossed. Here they crossed. We've had a few members ask to have this feature added, so I think it'll be a good addition. You can also just turn that HMA feature on so that you know, you just add the cross as well to the original setup rules, okay, or entry rules. Or if you just want it to be based solely on when the Hall Moving Averages cross, then you can do that as well. Okay, keeping lots of options for you guys. We are also currently coding the Expert Advisor for Wick Hunter. Excuse me. The release date will be in April. We'll definitely want your guys' feedback. I don't really trade the Wick Hunter that much. It's a little too fast-paced for me. I like my longer-term trades. I like my trail stopping. I like my, you know, all of that. I like my Fultron. Okay, it's really my favorite. But you know, that's definitely something, if you don't mind demoing, it'd be very helpful if you find that it's not, you know, entering maybe correctly, or it's not sticking true to the strategy. Let us know. Okay, we're always trying to improve everything and add to all the existing experts and new ones. Okay, the Superman and Flower Power strategy from John in the Room is now released. Technically it's being released tomorrow, but you won't be getting this prediction analysis until tomorrow. So it is in the updated file pack, and I hope you guys enjoy it. I'd like to thank you, John, for spending a lot of time. He spent a lot of time back testing this. He spent a lot of time trading it actively every day, and so has Linda Stewart. I have as well, but I've been demoing. I have not been taking the trades live. Excuse me. And that's just how I am. I like to demo for a month before I go live with anything. So that should be a fun one. I hope you guys enjoy it. And like I said, it's in the file pack. If I right click and I go to templates, and then right here you'll see Flower Power and Superman. The only difference is colors. There's nothing else different about these strategies. Okay, this is the Superman. Oops. If I right click and go to template and to Flower Power, this is the Flower Power. So it's just based on what you want to look at, really. Awesome strategy though. Excuse me. Let us know what you think. Let us know if you find something that works better for it. Okay? We're always looking to improve everything in the room. Last thing on updates is the April 2016 File Pack and Expert Advisor Pack are now released. So, definitely download those into your MetaTrader 4 and get rocking and rolling with the new stuff. All right, the new experts, new file pack, updated indicators, all that kind of stuff. If you're new to the room and you don't know this yet, then the expert advisors and the file pack are always updated by the final Sunday of each month. Your current ones will expire, so you will want to download those. And they have updates, they have requests from members, added features, things like that. Now, all of these things here that I was talking about that are going to be released, those are not in this file pack and expert advisor pack yet, but they will be released sometime in April. Okay, and as always, I'll post it to Twitter and all that good stuff, and so you guys will know. Okay, you guys have a great rest of your weekend and rest of your Easter, and I will see you in the room on Monday.